Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We appreciate you spending some time with us, supporting the show, supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. We got Thomas Younk coming up here in just a minute. Cons Helping Cons. He is a nonprofit organization that does some really awesome work in the community, introduced to us by Captain Will Smith, who wrote Ditches to Riches and some other books. But we're going to get into that content here in just a moment. Before we do, we always like to feature our real estate listings live on air, and it's a strategy that helps us sell faster for more money with our real estate listings. 8333 New York Avenue in Hudson is a commercial property that we've got listed. Now, this one is a 1.5 acre property. Zoning is C3. So you have different structures here. You get comprising of 3 distinct structures, 2 residential buildings and 1 large warehouse. So it's a great opportunity. You have built-in, the economy is built in there, the economics rather. You have $3,300 a month coming in. You have warehouse amenities, office space, climate-controlled 2-bay garage, body with car lift and a storage RV. So it's a great opportunity here. Lots of land, and it's 8333 New York Avenue in Hudson. A great opportunity to pick up a real estate property right here in Pasco County, one of our real estate listings. Now, we also have a listing at 37351 Neighbors Path, Zephyr Hills. This is a large home. What I love about some of these northern parts of our listening audience is when you go to Zephyr Hills, for example, this one is you have much larger lots, bedrooms. This one's a 1.2 acre lot on the property, large yard. You have almost 3,500 square feet. You have mother-in-law suite, open concept floor plan, 6 bedrooms, 4.5 bath. Great opportunity to own real estate here at 37351 Neighbors Path, Zephyr Hills. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
Let's give a shout out to our friends over at Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the program. Discovery Golf Cars, they got multiple locations here in the Bay Area. They have a Palm Harbor location, one up in the Land O'Lakes area and Lutz, and they have Star EV Cushman. They have also the Easy Go is what I have. I got a Keller Williams red, beautiful golf cart from our friends at DiscoveryGolfCars.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, let's go to the phone lines here. We got Thomas Younk calling in. Cons Helping Cons, free to serve on Facebook is where you can find him. Cons Helping Cons, free to serve. Thomas Younk, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
Hey, my pleasure, man. Well, hey, let's jump right into it. So when you look at, one of the challenges that folks have, and give me your numbers again. You said you've got an outstanding track record of helping people when they're coming out of prison and trying to get reacclimated back into the community. What's those stats again?
Well, in the last 11 years now, we've helped over 2,300 people, and only 6 have returned to prison.
Wow, 2,300 people and only 6 have returned to prison. That is amazing numbers. That's a great ratio there.
Oh, it's actually now, if those 2,300 people did not have any help, according to the statistics provided by the Florida Department of Corrections, 77% of them would have returned to prison within 3 years. So you're looking at, keeping about 1,600 people out of prison.
Wow. How are you funding this venture, Thomas?
Well, actually, everybody's a volunteer, so we don't have any overhead. We work out of our homes. And we used to own homes, actually, that we would, when people came out, of course, you need to find a place for them to live. You need to find them a job. And we assign everybody a mentor, somebody who's been in their shoes and has succeeded. Well, we used to have our own homes, and we would fund that by donations and people coming out and getting, living in the house and getting a job and then paying us rent until they could go get their own place, and we'd start the process over. Well, unfortunately, housing has become so expensive that the donations couldn't keep up with the cost of the rent, and the people getting jobs couldn't pay us enough to keep up with the rent. So we had to give up all of our homes. So we have got people strategically being placed with friends and family and concerned people who have opened one or more of their bedrooms in their homes to us. It's a very trusting situation. But we vet our people very well, so I don't worry about putting somebody in somebody's house. But that's how we do it. So it doesn't really cost us anything. We put them in that house to live. I can get anybody a job within 24 hours just because there's so many job openings now. And I've convinced employers to hire people when they come out of prison because those people are going to work hard. They don't want to go back to prison. They want to have some money. They want to have that freedom. So as soon as they get some money in their pocket and, they go get themselves a cell phone, they're on their way. And then they stay with that wherever they're living long enough until they can get their own place to live. Now, unfortunately, that's taking longer than it used to because of the cost of renting again, but that's how we do it. So our overhead is very low.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love that idea of helping people, get back into a gainful employment situation, being contributors to society, being able to come out, because it's a paradigm shift. Talk to me about that too, Thomas, because I know you and with Captain Will Smith, you guys shared similar stories where some folks just have a hard time because they've been in prison for so long. They look at the outside world as a completely different, it's like, wow, what's going on here?
Well, it is an entirely different world. When you're inside, research shows us that you only make about 25 decisions per day because really you have nothing to decide. You don't have to decide what you're going to wear. You don't have to decide what you're going to eat. All that's done for you. Whereas we who live out in the free world, we make at least 250 decisions per day. So that first off, you get into that lazy habit of not making decisions while you're inside. That's something you have to pick up your game on when you get out. You got to start figuring out what you're going to do and making decisions and, thinking things through. Also, there's a whole different level of respect. Inside, respect is the number one key because if you don't respect one another, you could die. I mean, it's just that simple.
Right.
People get killed inside for lack of respect. When you come back out into society, I don't have to tell anybody who's been outside their house, there's a lot of disrespect in society. And actually, that takes a while for the guy who's been inside to get used to again without throttling somebody or getting violent. Right. So those are the two biggest things we have to deal with, helping people start making decisions again and helping them realize that, hey, society is a nasty place. You're going to have to put up with people. But once we get past those, everything just kind of seems to flow. Because like I said, I can get anybody a job. So they have that job and they build their rapport there. They make some friends there. And it just seems to work, and of course, the most important, the three prongs, the housing, the employment, and the mentor. The mentor plays a huge role because the mentor is there to tell them, hey, this is what I went through. These are the steps that you can take to avoid the problems. And they know that they can contact that mentor 24/7. All the mentors keep their phones on all the time. And if you have any questions or concerns, you call them and say, hey, I got this going on. What do I do? And so that really helps a lot.
Yeah, I love it. If you just joined us, folks, we're talking with Thomas Younk, Cons Helping Cons, and he is a great American and just running this nonprofit in a scenario where he's helped 2,300 people over the last 11 years coming out of prison, coming out of some of these toughest standards, some toughest situations that you could imagine, and helping them get gainful employment. 2,300, and he's only had 6 people go back into prison. So that's amazing accomplishment, Thomas. And man, I tell you, that's doing God's work right there, my friend. Thanks for all you're doing.
My pleasure. I appreciate doing this. It's God bless me, so it's my chance to pass it on.
Yeah, and I believe your wife as well is very involved with helping a lot of things that you're doing as well, right?
She is. Marianne is a key concept to all this.
Yeah. Now, talk a little bit about the origination of this, because I know, we talked with Will about his books as well, because I think he's got his books into the prison systems now, Ditches to Riches.
He does. Yes,
so tell me about that.
Well, actually, what happened, how Cons Helping Cons started, it's a long story, but to make it short, I was in prison. I noticed guys would leave and come back and leave and come back. So I mentioned to one of the guys, why do you keep coming back? And they said, well, I get out. They only give you $50 in a bus pass. So you get out. And if you don't have a plan, you're out of money the first night. Now what? And so these guys would resort going back to what they knew, doing crime to survive.
Right.
And that's how they come back. So that's where I came up with the idea, hey, when I get out, I'll do something where I can find them some housing, give them some money with a job. And so when you get out of prison in Florida, everybody has to go register with their sheriff's department. That's a rule for all felons. That's been 12 years now, that rule. So when I registered, the case manager in Hillsborough said to me, well, what are you planning on doing? I told him I was going to start rehabbing houses the next day with a buddy of mine that offered me a job. And I told him about this concept of cons helping cons. And he said to me, well, how soon can you start taking people on? I said, well, dude, I've been out of prison 4 hours. I don't know, Let me see how things roll. So the next day, I'm rehabbing a house with my buddy Keith, and I get a phone call from this case manager. Says, hey, I got a guy just got out of prison. He's got carpenter skills. Can you hire him? That was the start of Cons Helping Cons.
Wow, that's awesome. You mentioned that you help with job placement. What types of jobs do you have available for folks?
Mainly construction. Because all the construction companies up here, we're up in Pasco in Hernando County. All the construction companies up here need bodies. So that's for sure. But if I got somebody that can't do that type of strenuous work, Publix hires, Home Depot hires, all these little mom and pop shops around here, the restaurants are hiring. There's just so many openings. It's not an issue.
Right. Yeah, that seems like it's a trend that's been going for a while. Has it been like that for a little while?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the trends I've been seeing is for the last 2 years, housing's been a problem and employment has been no problem.
What about, have you seen an impact of we have an open southern border, so unfortunately the feds have decided to just allow our open border through Texas, Arizona, California, they're coming through in record numbers. Have you seen that impact what you're doing, and heard any stories around that?
Actually, I haven't.
Yeah.
Because you would think that maybe that, those guys are coming in and grabbing up these construction jobs, which we're hearing about on the news, but now there always seems to be an opening at a construction company for one of my people.
Yeah.
So actually, I have not been impacted by that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because Governor DeSantis doing a great job. A lot of it is based on what he's done, and
yeah. If I was running this program up in Chicago, it might be a different story.
Right.
Wouldn't be so easy to find jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right, Thomas, final thoughts. Back to you, Thomas Younk. Thomas Younk, Cons Helping Cons, free to serve. If you want to follow his page on Facebook, Cons Helping Cons, free to serve is the page. Final thoughts. Back to you, my friend.
Hey, we're big friends and fans of Jelly Roll here. And you hear him talk about how, you should be looking out the windshield, not in your rearview mirror. That's a common phrase of his.
Yeah.
That's been our phrase for about 11 years now.
Wow.
Because it's true. There's so much more ahead of you. And what's behind you is so little and doesn't really matter. That's why your windshield is bigger than your rearview mirror.
I love it, man. I love it. That's exactly right. And that's, it's like 80 times the size of your rear view. Your rear view is there to get, you pick up little nuggets here and there, but you can't focus on it. You can pick up ideas and it's kind of like that wake behind the boat. As you're driving the boat forward, you have that wake, but you can't change that wake. It's already there. It's going to ripple effect. It's going to happen. Focus on the future. Focus on what you can control. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. So your energy is going to flow to whatever you're focusing on. So you want to focus on positive things. And, you're doing a lot of great work out there, Thomas. We appreciate all you're doing, man.
Thank you.
All right. Well, have a wonderful day. Thomas Younk, Cons Helping Cons, free to serve on Facebook. Subscribe and check him out there as well. And
if anybody needs help with somebody coming out, just reach me through Facebook.
All right, yep. Reach them through Facebook there, guys. Cons Helping Cons, free to serve. Thomas, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, we're taking a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got Shane Socash. He's the owner of David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin. We talk about the alternative investment opportunities, precious metals, diamonds, and he's got a great location right here in Pinellas County. Coming up here in just a moment, Shane Socash, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.